Welcome back to the Spend Life Well show, where we talk about all things faith and finance, helping you align your values with your wealth. I'm your host, Certified Kingdom Advisor Mark Trice with Clear Vista Financial. And today we're going to tackle a topic that probably a lot of us struggle with, and that's managing your personal finances, especially when life feels just way too busy to fit it in. And I know a lot of you right now during the holiday season are probably feeling the impact of busyness. But why is it important for us to budget? Many people feel like they're too busy to focus on their finances. Well, if you ignore money, it can create all sorts of hidden stressors. It can cause us to make poor decisions and missed opportunities. So just a few intentional habits can create peace, clarity, and confidence with your budget. One of my favorite verses in Psalms is Psalm 90:12. It says, "Teach us to number our days that we may gain a heart of wisdom." Numbering your days is really kind of reflective for someone of my age now. As we start reading about different friends' obituaries in the paper and things like that, but we are here for a limited time. We don't live forever. I mean, those verses hit home. But also it means when it comes to things that should be taking priority. And yes, a spending plan or a budget sure is priority when it comes to being good stewards. Encouragement to be intentional with our time and steward every aspect of life, including our finances, with wisdom, is what we're trying to accomplish here today. And that's what that verse is really conveying as well. And I get it. It's overwhelming. A lot of times we just want to bury our head in the sand to be able to just ignore it and it'll go away. Many of us, many high-capacity people are just simply overwhelmed, not because they don't care. It's because they don't have margin in their life. And it's important that we all have margin in our life. Make budgeting and controlling your finances a priority. When time feels scarce, money is often ignored, yet it touches every area of our lives. And challenges that we might face, I mean, there's lots of myths out there when it comes to budgeting that it's all time-consuming and it takes forever, it's restrictive, you name it, lots of different things like that. But I tell you today that there's small, faithful steps that you can take that will matter more than some major overhauls. One of the things that I focus on when it comes to couples counseling and finances is not trying to make some massive overhaul. You know, when we think about the first thing that we often do is creating a spending plan. And we were working with a client one time, and they didn't want to do it. He was very like, I don't want to do that. It's going to tell me I can't do this and that. And we said, look, just write it down. Write down your expenses for a short period of time. And he agreed to do that. And for a month, he was going to take a little yellow pad and write down everything he spent. This was before people were really using debit cards and things like that for their everyday expenses. He was mainly using cash. So he was not knowing where money was going. I think we've all been in that situation where we might have $20 in our wallet on Monday, and on Friday we've got $2, and we can't figure out where it went. But this fellow went back, and he was in trouble with the IRS. They were garnishing wages and stuff like that, so he had to make every penny count. Which, by the way, as of this recording, there are no more pennies being printed anywhere. So we're not going to have pennies around for much longer. I digress. So we encouraged him to do that, to emphasize that he needed budgeting the most, and it was mainly to avoid this drift because he really didn't know where his money was going. And so we did that. He came back a month or two later, and it was so important for him. And we asked him, were there any, aha moments or anything like that helped him through this exercise? And he goes, yeah. He goes, I drink a lot of Dr. Pepper. And we're like, okay, yeah. He goes, no, you don't understand. I go to the 7-Eleven or the Circle K in the morning before I go to work, and I get 2 20-ounce Dr. Peppers. Now, I stopped by the store this morning before we did this recording so I could know how much that was. That was about $6 for 2 Dr. Peppers, all right? And he says, and then at lunchtime, I go out and I get another 2 Dr. Peppers, so another $6. And on the way home, I stop by the same store again and get a nightcap, I guess, of one more Dr. Pepper. So 5 Dr. Peppers in one day. He's spending close to $15 a day on Dr. Pepper. And so we're like, oh, wow. So are you going to not drink Dr. Pepper anymore? We said, and he goes, no way. I love Dr. Pepper. I'm only going to change. I'm going to keep drinking Dr. Peppers in the same volume. And we weren't sure why he wasn't diabetic, because that's a lot of Dr. Pepper and a lot of sugar. I'm going to change the way that I buy it. And so we asked him why. He basically said, once I wrote it down and discovered how much I was actually spending on Dr. Pepper, I said, I can't do this. I love Dr. Pepper. And we said, you do. We love Dr. Pepper, but I have to change the way I buy it. So he goes to the Sam's or to the grocery store and he buys it in bulk and he puts it in a cooler. He ends up spending about $6 for the same amount per day versus $15. Now, that's still a lot of Dr. Pepper, no doubt. But just that simple exercise of budgeting and writing it down allowed him to see where his excesses were. Didn't change what he was doing. He simply changed how he was doing that. And so it's real important to see those things. They're a very simple task of just simply writing it down helps you reflect on where you're spending your money. Now, what other things can you incorporate into your routine? So this is just a form of proactive stewardship, writing it down. It's not a punishment, right? This is not to tell you what you can't do, but it's the very thing that we're avoiding may be the one thing that would make us life feel lighter, more stable, and more aligned with our purpose. Here's a few tips. Number 1, automate everything you can. Bills, savings, giving, reduce the number of financial decisions that you have to make. If you know that you have to pay your car payment every month, automate it. Don't plan to sit there and go through all the bills and see which ones you should write a check for. Automate it. It's out of sight, out of mind. You're taking care of that. The same is true for savings. If you have a workplace 401k, automate it that they're taking money out of your check before you see it and putting it into the 401k. Same thing for giving. Automate it. It's out of sight, out of mind. You're doing it. It's reducing the stress. You're not having to make the decision to write that check or make that gift to the church. It's something that you've already planned and put into your spending plan because it's important. There should be no thought process here for that. You just do it. Second thing, schedule a 15-minute weekly financial check-in. Put it on your calendar. Maybe it's a Sunday evening type thing or a Saturday afternoon type thing, but you put it on your calendar like it's a meeting. 15 minutes, just review your transactions and pray over those transactions. Pray over the bills that you know are coming up and plan for the week ahead. Decide, after you prayed, how you're going to spend the money that God has entrusted you with. Pretty easy. Then, if you've got major priorities, this is number 3. If you've got major priorities, focus on one per season, maybe one per quarter. This quarter might be, I'm going to build up my emergency fund to 3 to 6 months of living expenses. I'm going to focus on life insurance the next quarter. Just one thing at a time. Don't try to do everything at once because it will overwhelm us. You don't need to spend hours each week. You need small, intentional steps to refocus your financial picture. A good budget doesn't restrict your life. A good budget or spending plan, as I prefer, it frees you from the constant low-grade anxiety of, can I afford this? Did I forget something? I know for years I would do my spending plan for our household, and for our business on yellow pads. And I had to make sure that the number at the bottom of this yellow pad matched the one at the top of this. And it was just, it's overwhelming. Now I keep up with it a different way. I still look at it once a week, spend about 15 minutes going over that. But I can tell you that just simply doing this once a week and checking in, your awareness will skyrocket, your confidence will go up, and your peace will be increasing. Let's look at this from a spiritual perspective. I don't have time. Well, that's a real feeling, right? But ask yourself, what are you taking time for? Matthew 6:21. Remember, this is a verse we have on our wall in our offices. Where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Managing money reflects what we value most. Many of us say we value generosity, security, or freedom, right? But if we never stop to align our budget with those values, we're not really living the way we should. Our money can unintentionally serve a different master. You really want to figure out where a person's priorities lie? Just look at their spending plan. You've got to spend a little time on your budget to figure out what it is that you value most and where your priorities are. I want to encourage listeners to connect their spending plan with their personal values. That's the main point. Your mission and your calling. Budgeting, believe it or not, is a spiritual discipline. It's a way to say yes to what matters most. You should be controlling every dollar of your spending plan or your budget, because not having your budget control you. I think Dave Ramsey says that, you control your money, don't let your money control you. There's another in Luke 16:10. There's a verse that says, whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much. That consistency of looking at your budget for 15 minutes a week, that faithfulness, especially in small steps, makes a huge impact. God cares more about our heart than perfect tracking or a perfect budget. You don't need to have a major overhaul of your financial life. You just need to take small steps forward. And folks, being too busy doesn't actually disqualify you from being a good steward. We have to make time for it, just like we have to make time for studying God's Word and being in prayer with Him. Being too busy doesn't excuse us. But with small intentional steps, intentional rhythms, those regular meetings with yourself, even the busiest person can have financial clarity. We've been given grace, folks, over guilt, but also action over avoidance. We're not called to sit still. So our call to action here today is, if you do need help with your finances and aligning your finances with your values, contact us anytime. You can email us at info@clearvistafinancial.com, text us at 254-282-0495, or visit us on the web at clearvistafinancial.com. We have a lot of free resources there, additional videos that encourage you as you go through your faith journey and also your financial walk. Remember sometimes, folks, that just starting, and I know we're getting towards the end of the year here, or it's the first of the year, when you're listening to this, it's always a time for financial improvement and making financial commitments. Make the commitment to spend a little time each week on your finances. Don't ignore it. This is not a bad thing. This is a freeing exercise, a chance to get peace about where you are and know the priorities that you need to have. If you need to talk to somebody, talk to a financial advisor. You can talk with us. And sometimes you just need somebody to bounce the ideas off of. That's what we're here for. You might need a spouse. You might need a trusted friend that you can just talk with about. They're not there to judge. They're there to kind of give you feedback and encourage you. And I pray that you will find someone that will help you do that. So as we leave, I just want to ask you a question. Um, do your values reflect in your budget, in your spending plan? If the answer is no, or if you're not sure how to answer that, let's talk. Folks, you've been listening to the Spend Life Well show. Until next time, we'll pray for you this week and hope that you have a great season preparing for your new financial year and your financial budget. Have a great day.
Securities offered through Cambridge Investment Research Incorporated, a broker-dealer, member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services through Cambridge Investment Research Advisors Incorporated, a registered investment advisor. Cambridge and Clear Vista Financial are not affiliated. Discussions in the show should not be construed as recommendations or investment advice. Always consult with your investment professional before making important investment decisions.